Hi, this is Paul Palmer. Today I want to talk about routines. What happens when you get into a routine? Well, you do the same thing each day. And in pharmaceuticals, that can be a problem, because if you're just doing the same thing blindly and you're not looking for those falsified medicines and you're not looking at what could be wrong with the work that you're doing, then it can be that you don't make the decision to stop something that you should. And a lot of the time I find that people just don't want to make a decision. They come and ask me, well, what should I do about this? And sometimes I think to myself, well, this is the same thing you asked me about yesterday, and it's the same situation. Why aren't you making the same decision? And I think sometimes it's because we get into that mindset that somebody else has to make the decision. Can be the QP, can be the supervisor, can be the manager. And if it's not written down, we don't know what to do. We're just following our instructions. And I do find that there's a lot of people that I work with that are taught to follow the instructions. They're taught this is how you do it, and they do it. And they get chastised if they do something different. So they learn from their experience, from their training, from their feedback. So they have to do as they're told. They don't question why they're doing it like that. They just do it. And then the next day they do the same thing, and they follow the same process, and they don't make any decisions. And once you've been doing that for a while and not making any decisions, and somebody else has to make the decisions, well, you get into the routine. The routine, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's distributing, whether you're taking orders, whether you're dealing with the phone calls, whether you're doing the quality inspection, getting in the routine can be hazardous to the quality of the product. It can impact your ability to actually identify a problem. If you're doing the same thing every day and you follow the same process and you label it the same way and you write in the same entries and you're doing it hundreds of times, it's really easy to miss something. So what do we do about it? Well, what we should have is a system, a process that allows us to identify when something's wrong. So how do you do that? Well, you look at your quality management system and you identify what the routines are. Yeah, that's fine. But how does somebody make sure that they're going to spot something when it's wrong? Well, a comparison is a good idea. So if you've got one entry here and another entry here, and you're writing the second one down, well, then it's easier to spot the difference. Spot the difference is often easier than just a straight number to look at. And then consider how many entries you need to make. If they're writing so fast that they can only just get all the entries in, well, they don't have time to think about any of them. They don't have time to look up, well, this one should be that, and that one should be that, and this SOP says that, and that work instruction says that, and maybe just this form that we've used to set the job up is the reference point. And then we just enter, yes, passed. Verified all sections, something like that. Instead of writing, I've seen documents that have 100 entries on a single page, all written by the same person, one after another, after another, after another. Did they think about them all? Well, maybe they did. But when it comes down to it and you see a complaint and something comes back and you see, well, that's something that they could have picked up in process, but they didn't. Well, maybe it's just because it wasn't the point where they were checking it. Or maybe it's because they were blind to the things that were going wrong. I watched there's a nice video on YouTube about inspection blindness. And looking for what you're looking for, you don't necessarily always see what else is coming up in front of you. And the video is about passing the ball. And you've got, I think it's 10 or 11 people passing a ball. And you're asked to count the number of times the ball's passed between them. And at the end of 2 minutes, nobody sees the monkey walk across the back. But then what else happens? Well, you come back and you do the same exercise again. And you pass the ball. And everybody sees the monkey that's been seen before. But nobody sees the change in color of the curtains or the fact that 2 of the people in the game leave. They walk off the screen. So it's really important that we look at how we train our team, that we help them with their ability to actually identify problems with the product and processes, so that we make it easy for them to spot the difference, to make a decision, to raise a problem to us, so that they actually address the issues when they're in process and don't just have them following the routine. And really, we're treating them like monkeys, because a monkey can just follow a 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, pass it there, pass it there, pass it there. Chimpanzees have been taught to do the repetitive functions. We shouldn't be leaving our people to do that. We should give them the opportunity to think. So that's it for me for today. It's Paul Palmer. Talk to you soon.